Welcome back to another episode of Sisters Sisters. And guys, we told you we were going to keep it casual on this podcast, but you may notice I'm currently literally in pajamas.
Which is actually something that wouldn't even be that rare because she wears her pajamas most of the day. And also, if you're listening on audio, you didn't notice that. Mouselet 1 is currently in her pajamas. Why, might you ask, is Mouselet 1 in her pajamas? Is it because she's just lounging in them as she does on a day-to-day basis? In this particular situation, it's not.
It's because it is Wednesday, September 3rd, aka the night before this releases at 9:49 p.m. Because, guys, we recorded this episode well in advance. We had a great episode for you. I came on tonight to get it prepped, to just pop it over onto all the appropriate channels. Oh,
Some
there's
little
a
corrupt
bug.
little bug in one of the sounds that we played, unknown which one. And we had to reach out to the company that runs the platform that we do our podcast on. A little behind the scenes info for you. They're based in Tel Aviv. Best case scenario, they're awake right now. No, they're not.
They're not able to assist. And so we're re-recording. And you know what? Honestly, we just did our Pete and Pitch Crew segment. And I will say, I think it was much better.
Pete and Pitch. Meese. Pete and Pitch Crew. Meese, guys. Perfect example if anyone heard Meese. Pitch. Oh, Pitch
Guys,
and Peach Crew.
That was so chaotic for people who don't know what's going on. The word meese in our family means you did something embarrassing. I did mess up my word slightly. Again, it is now 9:50 p.m. We just did our Pit and Peach Crew segment, and I have to say, I think it was much better than the first go around. So
I think we might. I talked about my weekend the first go around.
I just think that this one was more fun.
Speaking of my weekend, guess what I did?
I do know what you did now at this point, but you
Oh,
saw
well, I saw Freaky
Friday.
Freaky Friday. I did. Anyone else seen it? Let us know. And I loved it. We always loved Lindsay Lohan, but not as much as other people because she was in The Parent Trap, but we didn't watch that version of The Parent Trap. We watched the original version of The Parent Trap, which I will say is better. And we didn't know about the real version until college.
Wait, no, truly way later. So we don't have that same. I do actually really love the Lindsay Lohan version now that I've seen it.
Me too.
I think it's so fun. But
Yeah.
the original version, I can't remember that actress's name, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of people listening who also like that version. There's like a small but mighty group who love that version, and it's so good. If you haven't seen it, you should really watch it. It's the original from the 60s or something.
It's
70s.
so good. But we are still Lindsay Lohan fans. Always liked her, and I love seeing her come back. And so I was telling Mouselets one that I thought Freakier Friday, whatever it's called, was actually really, really good. I thought they did a great job overall. I thought it was good for all ages. And
Go ahead.
I love her comeback. That's all I want to say.
Well, something I would like to say is when Mouselet 2 told me a few days ago that she went to see Freakier Friday, I was shocked. Because Mouselet 2...
Not sure why.
Nope. Mouselet 2 does not go to the movies. And so I said, what was the last movie you saw? I dragged her to Wicked over Christmas break, okay? So she saw Wicked. She slept through it.
I watched some of it.
She went to the movie theater to see Wicked. Prior to that, when I asked you what was the last movie you'd seen before that, what did you say?
Okay. What I said, because this is so fresh in my mind and it's crazy that I was so off. I saw the movie, We Bought a Zoo. And Mouselets one said with Matt Damon, she said, didn't that come out in 2018? I was like, yeah, I think a little later than that, but I think it was before COVID. Okay. Turns out it came out in 2011. All right. Whatever.
So, guys, when I asked her what was the last movie you saw before Wicked, the movie she came up with was a movie she saw in theaters in 2011
I came up
when
with
she was in
another one.
high school.
Trainwreck. I said Trainwreck after that.
And
That
I
was my
said-
freshman year of college.
We
maybe
were in
sophomore.
college for that.
There was definitely one more at least.
Okay. So, proving my point that you do not go to the movies, I, on the other hand, go to the movies all the time.
To watch Marvel, so that doesn't even count.
What? Oh, sorry. Why doesn't that count?
James.
Why doesn't it count? But why doesn't it count?
Because you're being dragged there by Mouselets C's family.
Mouselets C's family loves Marvel, so we do go see literally
Also,
every single
Mouselets
Marvel.
C's family loves to stay up really, really, really late at
Yes.
night.
So at 10 p.m. midnight showing, we go see the Marvel movie on the day that it releases. I sleep through some of them, but I watch the ones that I'm interested in. But I am very, very, very sort of on the ball with Marvel because of that. And I
Speaking
go to
of
the movies a lot.
Marvel, do you know that I have a subtle interest in watching Marvel now because of a TikTok fan edit I saw of Guardians of the Galaxy with Gamora in it. And I saved it literally to I have a playlist of movies I want to watch. And I said, this looks amazing.
I can't believe you even know Gamora's name. Yet
Well, you
alone
made
that
me
you would
part
watch
of
it. Yet alone that you would watch a fan edit of it.
Also, Captain America. There's another one. But then I genuinely tried. I went to Disney Plus. I said, I'm going to watch Captain America.
Oof.
I typed in Captain America. 3 Captain Americas came up, and I said, I don't know which one to watch, and I quit.
You didn't choose the one that said the first Avenger. You weren't like, oh, first.
No, I figured that was like a precursor. Don't even remember that. So shout out to TikTok.
What was happening in the fan edit? Do you remember? I'm curious. Like, I genuinely am curious.
No, I'll try to pull it up while we chat, though.
Okay.
I'll pull it up. I'll reference it.
Well, it's okay. But guys, I do want Mouselet 2 to watch Marvel. And something I talked about this on an Instagram post recently, if you saw it. But when I watched Marvel for the first time, so I decided to watch Marvel right after Endgame came out, and everybody at my work was talking about it. I decided that I would watch all of the Marvel. What are you laughing at?
I found the edit.
Okay. I would watch all of the Marvel movies in order. And online, there's a big debate about do you watch in timeline order or release order? This means nothing to Mouselet 2.
I'm not an idiot.
I know, but you don't. I decided to watch in timeline order, and I kind of regret it. I wish that I had done release order, and a lot of people say Mouselet 2 should watch in timeline order, but I really think you should watch release order.
You forced me to do that. I watched the Iron Man and the Hulk.
That's release order.
Oh, it was awful. I bailed. Okay, guys, I found the fan edit. If you're watching on YouTube, I can't play the sound because we'll get a copyright strike, so I'll have to sing it.
Okay, that's perfect.
Let me try to hold it up. All right. Made you the villain, even for just moving on. I see your shadow, see it even with the lights on. It's a fan edit to the song The Subway by Chapel Roan of Gamora and the main character in the maroon jacket.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord,
I could not see. I could see about 15% of your screen when you were holding it up.
I'll send it to you. Anyone who wants it, just shoot us a message. I'm happy to pass this fan edit along. It actually popped off on TikTok.
I'm excited to see it. I really like Star-Lord and Gamora, but I just am surprised that it hooked you in. I'm wondering what's in there that hooked you.
I was on the song, obviously. I was on Marvel Talk for all of like a day, and I was like, yes, and then I'm off of it now.
Oh, well, I think you should go. I think you should go back. The thing is, okay, so I was saying there are certain things that Mouselet 2 would genuinely really, really like. For example, Mouselet 2 loves like sort of the vibe of like retro, futuristic, mid-century modern energy.
WandaVision.
So, I mean, you'd like WandaVision. You would like the new Fantastic Four movie that just came out. That's like literally perfectly set in.
What's the one with the lesbians in it? I want to watch that one.
Oh, America
Agatha the Witch.
Moms?
Agatha the Witch or something.
Oh, Agatha all along. Yeah, you'd like that.
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah,
Any WLW.
There are things that you would like, but I have to say there is a lot that you wouldn't like, and you have to be ready to power through. But also, you don't even like that Clone Wars show you're watching that much for Star Wars, so you are used to powering through.
Okay, Clone Wars, some of it's good, and then some of the episodes are excruciatingly boring.
Yeah,
we have to get through Clone Wars. We're on season 4.
I can't believe you're not done, honestly. I feel like you've been watching it for over a year.
Like 30 episodes a season. We've watched like 120 episodes.
When do you think you started it?
Gosh, at least a year ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like an episode every 3 days. It's brutal. It's brutal. I'm on my Star Wars journey, guys, because we want to watch Ahsoka. In order to watch Ahsoka, we have to watch Rebels. In order to watch Rebels, we have to watch Clone Wars. So that's the journey I'm on right now.
Oof.
Oof.
I'm glad I won't be joining you on that journey.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, shall we get into That's What You Missed on Glee?
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
This news is fresh on our mind from when we recorded this podcast like a couple of days ago, but I'm even more excited to talk about it now because we've gotten a little more details, gotten to kind of dig in, and there's another piece of news that we didn't even have on the list that I'm going to talk about. So boom.
Great. I don't know what it is. It'll be a surprise. This news is primarily coming out of Destination D23. So they did not do a parks specific panel, but they did sort of scatter some news throughout. So we got some things. Do you want to start with the first one?
I'll start with the first one. This is probably maybe the least interesting to some people, but if you've been to Disneyland Paris, you know that there's a castle park, which is amazing, and there's another park, which is not quite as amazing. They're doing a massive refurbishment to the park. They're like doubling it in size. The park is called Walt Disney Studios, and one of the things they're adding is a Lion King flume ride. That's not related to this news. Just wanted to mention
I was going to say, okay, thanks for sharing. That has nothing to do with this.
One of the other things they're adding is a Frozen Land, and we officially know that Frozen Land will open in spring of 2026. So next year, very, very exciting.
When we were at Disneyland Paris recently, we could like see the tops of it being built. And this is really the first step in like totally transforming this park. I know if you haven't been to Disneyland Paris, this means nothing, but it is going to be like a huge step for them.
Take every part of Hollywood Studios that is not good and then make it worse. That's Walt Disney Studios.
And make it the whole entire park.
Yeah, there's still there's good little gems. Crush Coaster and the Tower of Terror is good there, but like the park itself, there's a whole bunch of lore. We'll do a Disneyland Paris episode, but that is probably the smallest piece of news, but one that I'm just like, I'm excited about myself.
This next one is also small, but it is a U.S. piece of news. So, and the Tron Ares movie is coming out soon.
And Shanghai.
And Shanghai, yes. The Tron Ares movie is coming out soon, which is a new movie in the Tron series, I guess. I admittedly have not seen any of the Tron movies, but I guess in this movie, the theme of it is like red, the color red. And so they're going to be doing a layover on the Tron light cycle run at Magic Kingdom and in Shanghai to make the awning and I believe the light cycles red temporarily in honor of Tron Ares coming out, which I think is really fun. I think Disney a lot of times releases rides that we have hopes that they'll sort of continually update. For example, with Toy Story Mania, everyone was like, oh my gosh, they can so easily change out the games, and they never have. So I think it's cool that they are taking this opportunity to make something a little different with Tron.
Actually, they kind of have for Disneyland's anniversary. They just kind of like made some changes to Toy Story Mania, but not anything that's significant. Just wanted to throw that in. But I'm excited for Tron. I think that's a good one. I think that's a good choice. I think that'll be fun. I haven't seen the Tron movies either. I have one downloaded on my phone for literally like, gosh, I don't know, like 3 months. Could never watch it. Okay.
If you've watched the Tron movies, please let us know if you think we should watch them, because if it will help me understand the ride more, I would maybe consider it.
I feel like I get the ride enough, but yeah, please let us know. Okay, next piece of news. This is a big one. This is a biggie. We are getting a Walt animatronic at Walt Disney World, and it is being added to the Carousel of Progress in Tomorrowland. Disney recently added a Walt animatronic to a Disneyland in the theater that has great moments with Mr. Lincoln. They added like a little like Walt show basically that alternates with it. And this is the first Walt animatronic ever. It's the first Walt attraction. I feel like up until right about now, they couldn't really have a Walt attraction. Just like it was still too like close to when he was around. It'd be kind of creepy to like have one so soon after. But I think the Disneyland one seems amazing. And the Carousel of Progress, it's going to be in the opening scene of the Carousel of Progress. And Walt's going to basically give like a little precursor. Carousel of Progress is such like a detailed lore dating back to the 1964 World's Fair. It was one of the attractions that one of the 4 attractions that Walt helped develop. And I feel like this is a very like full circle moment. What are your thoughts?
I'm so excited. I think as people who have been going to Disney and know a lot about Disney history, I love Carousel of Progress. Like genuinely, I love that ride.
Me too.
But I think that if you are a newer guest, it might not like resonate the same way. And I think having Walt intro why it was so special, the history of it and stuff will make it just like add nostalgia for everybody. I think it's such a good idea.
I think it's so smart. And it also, they said like the ride's going to stick around for a long time, which is like, is great. The ride show, whatever you want to call it. I think it will help it find its place in Tomorrowland, and it will help kind of like root Tomorrowland into a specific time period. So I'm very happy about that.
Root.
Yeah, root. That's exactly how I would describe it. Okay,
next up, this piece of news is actually not from D23, but for some reason it was randomly announced right about now. So on Monday, which was I guess September 1st, the Boneyard officially closed. Guys, Mouselet 2 is typing a little note into our doc if you can hear that. Anyways,
no one can hear it.
The Boneyard officially closed on Monday in Dinoland USA. So R.I.P.
We're doing the bone dance.
We knew that was going to close, to be clear. But the new piece of news is that we got a closing date for Dinosaur. So Dinosaur's last day in operation will be February 1st, 2026. And honestly, I think this is a relief. I think for a while, people go to the parks and they're like, oh my gosh, we've done this. Is this my last time riding Dinosaur? It might be my last time. Like, without knowing, everybody was so confused. Now we know we can say goodbye.
We can enjoy it while it's there. You know what? I found a video of us in January of 2025 at Rock and Roller Coaster saying this is the last time we might ride this. Like, okay.
We've been there many times since.
We've been on many, many times. I'm sad to see Dinoland go, but also like agreed. I think this is a relief for all of us. We'll ride it one last time. It'll be great. Okay. Next up, this is the piece of news that you didn't know. We got more details about Disney's Villain Land. Not anything that like concrete, right? We don't know what type of ride exactly is coming, but we're starting to get kind of details that are like showing that they're actively working on it, basically. So as some background, when Disney goes and kind of creates any project, I'm going to use Animal Kingdom as an example, like the Africa land or the Asian land, they will go and do these research trips, and they'll take their architects and their designers, their engineers, whatever, and they'll go on this trip and they'll go to like, well, for Africa, obviously they went to different countries in Africa, and they'll start to gather all sorts of materials and find inspiration and things. And so what they announced with the Villains Land, did you see this news? I assume you did.
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
What they saw with the Villains Land is that they're going to be kind of drawing inspiration from like Paris and like Barcelona.
What's that a reference to?
That's how you're supposed to say it.
Oh, okay. You should keep saying it like that.
Barcelona. It sounds like I have a lisp, but that is how you're supposed to say it. They're going to be drawing inspiration from those places, and so they're calling the type of architecture they're going to use conjured architecture. And to me, some of the examples they showed literally look like the inside of the castle at Disneyland Paris.
Yes,
Didn't you get that vibe?
Yes, I did see this, and I really love the style that they're going with. It totally reminds me of Disneyland Paris, in our opinion, has the most beautiful castle. Like of any, we've only been to 3 Disney parks, but of any of those 3, it's our favorite. It's so pretty. And I love sort of drawing, and that castle has inspirations from Maleficent inside. And so I love some of what they're taking there.
Maleficent. Oh my God.
That's a reference to the live action Maleficent, and I hope everybody understood that.
You burst everyone's eardrums. Okay, so that's really exciting. We're going to continue to get so many more details about the Villains Land, but it's exciting that we're getting that little tiny one. And the last one is a big chunk.
We are so excited. I think this is probably one of the more controversial ones because I think people feel different ways about this, but we absolutely love the original Cinderella Castle, the original colors, and it is officially going back to those original colors. So for context, for the 50th anniversary, they announced that they were going to make the castle a new color scheme, this kind of like pink and gold, which randomly had something to do with some anniversary of Cinderella.
Cinderella's like 70th anniversary, despite the fact that Cinderella's castle is white and blue. I think they just wanted to do it. Wait.
Yeah.
Mouselets Lore. Play the bit. Mouselets Lore. Insane Mouselets Lore.
Mouselets Lore.
In 2018, I edited a picture.
Oh, yes.
I edited a picture of, you know what? I want to start adding stories of the things I mentioned because this one has to be seen. I have the timestamp of it because it's still on our feed. I edited a picture of the castle and made it pink and blue with a fairy godmother there. And then now the castle is pink and blue. I'm just kidding.
Guys.
Obviously, that's a coincidence, but it is a crazy coincidence.
And so when Disney did this, I love pink, I will say. I love the color pink. And we were excited to see what it was. I think to me, the pink just has never fully worked. Number one, pink to me is Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's Disneyland Castle. It's Disneyland Paris Castle. It's not Cinderella Castle. And also, I think that while in like certain lights, the pink looks really pretty. I think under direct sunlight, which is what Florida has most of the time, it just, something about it doesn't work for me personally.
What was the first, I distinctly remember the first video picture I saw of the castle pink completed. Do you remember?
It was Greg, wasn't it?
It was Greg from
From a balcony.
Our friend Greg from our favorite podcast, That Park Life podcast. Shout out. Greg's going to be our guest on our podcast, FYI, guys. He posted a picture of it. It was before like the park maybe was even open.
I think the parks hadn't reopened from COVID. Yeah, because, okay, also, more Mouselets Lore. We randomly were in the parks the day that they closed for COVID. And on that trip, which was March 2020, they had started painting the castle pink. Like, we have pictures and videos of like a couple spires being painted pink. So then when the parks closed, they basically finished the painting pink. And so before they opened, Greg was staying at the Contemporary. I guess the resorts opened before the parks, and he got a picture of the
and I
pink
remember being
castle.
like,
we were like, whoa, yeah.
So Disney is painting it back, and so I don't hate the pink. I liked it when they had the gold for the 50th. I think it worked for something special, right? It's like the birthday cake castle. It worked, but then they kind of said or like implied that potentially they weren't going to. That might have just been rumors from our blog, but that they weren't going to paint it back. They were just going to let it fade. I was like, oh gosh, but I'm so happy. And for me, the color scheme that I want it to be is not what it was right before COVID, which was like almost like a light blue and like a gray, it was.
We both said
dingy.
It was a little bit dingy. Like when you look back at photos, one thing that the transformation did to the pink, and they also repainted the spires a different color blue. it's very, very like vibrant now. And if you look
Yeah.
back, it definitely was a little bit dingy. And so we are hoping that the color scheme draws inspiration from the original, but is a little bit different.
Like the 1980s like repainting of it, that it's like I want it to be more white and I want the blue to be a little bit like richer.
Yeah, like
Not as rich as
everything-
it is now.
No. But
No.
just everything a little crisper, a little less dull, a little more vibrant. I think that they're going to do that, and I'm genuinely so excited.
We don't have a date that this is going to like be officially done yet, but it's going to be interesting watching it be painted back because it's going to be like splotchy. So I'm sure they're going to have a whole process, but I'm really, really excited about that. So everyone, if you're listening or watching on YouTube, comment in the comments. Otherwise, I think, again, I'm going to try to do some stories about this. I mean, it is 10:09 p.m. on the night before the podcast since we had to re-record this entire thing, but I am going to try to do some stories kind of talking about some of the things that are fresh on my mind. So I'll put a poll in there, see what everyone thinks.
Okay, moving on to our main topic. We decided for today that we are going to talk about tips for maximizing your park time. This was submitted by a listener in our pit crew, a listener question.
If you want to submit a listener question, you can join our Pit and Peach crew. They get an extended cut. They got like the full extended cut of the podcast where we're just like talking about God knows what. And also our Peach crew can join close friends. There's a lot of different perks, but one of them is submitting listener questions. This is a really good one. I'm excited to cover this.
Me too. And up top, just to set a few rules for how we're sort of going to do the segment, we're not going to include the things that I feel like are like the super obvious tips for maximizing park time. Like you should probably rope drop. Like you should consider getting lightning lanes. You should mobile order. Those we felt like were maybe a little bit too basic for the people listening to this. But if you have questions about basic stuff like that, join Pit and Peach crew, drop them into the listener questions. We'll definitely answer them. We just did not want to bore you guys right now.
Yeah,
So
we'll definitely do like a beginner's episode too, if that would be helpful. I think we'll probably do it at some point, even if it wouldn't be helpful potentially. But in this case, we're talking a little bit more niche.
okay,
Do you
we
wanna
should
start?
start. Sure. So my first one, I was like not sure how you're necessarily going to feel about this one. I feel like it's a very me thing, less of a you thing. But it is that if you really want to maximize your park time, you should consider eating only like 2 meals a day. So a lot of times, Mouselet 2 and I are not so good at making dinner reservations in advance. And so a lot of times we end up eating dinner at like 3:30 or 4 p.m. So for me, I personally can eat like breakfast at 10, dinner at 4, and then kind of fill the other times that I'm hungry with snacks because Disney has so many good snacks anyways.
You should know that obviously I can't do that. I just said this to Mouselet A and her family because they were like, none of them ever get hungry. I don't know what it is. They have like no appetite. That'll be like lunchtime and they're like, oh, I'm not hungry at all. How funny. I'm a 3 meal a day kind of gal. I've gotten better about it. You have to admit I've gotten better. But like my stomach will be like eating itself. It's because I wake up so early that I eat at like 5:15, 5:30, like in the morning. And so anytime I have to wait to eat, my stomach is like literally eating itself from the inside out. So for me, this tip doesn't work quite as well. But I do feel like there is a genre of people that this would work for and it would be effective, but I'm not that person.
A lot of times Mouselet 2 will eat breakfast at the resort, but sometimes, like, especially for parks that open, like, literally at 7 o'clock, she will wait, and then we'll have rope dropped. We'll have done, like, one thing, and Mouselet 2 says, I need breakfast, and I need it now, and I say, oh, it's prime ride time. Let's go do some rides first. Nope, it's time to eat. And I understand that with, like, kids and stuff, this might be harder, but I think if you do have the flexibility, filling with snacks, like for example, a lot of times in Magic Kingdom, I'll get a Cheshire Cat tail in the morning. That's one of my favorite little treats. It like tides me over until I get a bigger meal. It definitely saves time because meals take up a lot of time.
I feel like this is almost more of a tip that's like eat it off hours because you're still eating a bunch versus like skipping a meal, which is probably not realistic for most people. Although there are some people that can do that, but not me. Mine is another one that is like something that we don't always do, but I think if we did do it, it would be really effective. So my first one is that, and this is, I guess, maximize your time on rides. That's kind of the lens I looked at this whole topic with. How do you fit a lot of rides in? Skip the fireworks. That's kind of my tip. So if you skip the fireworks, you can literally get so much done. I will say every time we try to skip the fireworks, we're sort of like doing something and we're like
We're
longingly
sad.
looking in the distance and we're like, oh.
We're like running around trying to get a good view of the fireworks, being like, oh,
I have a
singing
video of us like
along.
getting off Tron and I'm like leaning over the fence, like recording happily ever after. But all things like, especially if you go to the parks, if you're going on a long trip and you're going like multiple days, or if like you don't want to see the Epcot fireworks, whatever it is, Hollywood Studios, if you want to skip Fantasmic, I mean, you can crank through things. So if you've seen the fireworks or you're up for skipping them or you're going multiple days for whatever reason, that's when wait times really drop. So
I do feel like this is especially effective at Magic Kingdom, where it is also the saddest to miss the fireworks. Like, they're so iconic there. Although you can see them very much and hear them
they pump
throughout
it.
the park. You
Yeah.
just really can't see the projections, and it doesn't really have the same effect. But if you're super ride focused there, you can, like, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train wait time, it's not going to be, 5 minutes, but it's definitely going to be lower than it is
Yeah, it's going to be shorter. So
throughout the day.
that's my first one. What's your
I
next?
agree, but it makes me too sad to skip.
I would agree.
Okay, my next one is this. I'm trying to think of how to best describe this, but I would say something that I was thinking about is there are certain things that most guests do just because it makes sense. For example, Future World opens with the park in the morning. Most of World Showcase doesn't really open until like 11-ish. It's not fully like that anymore, but kind of. So most guests will do Future World in the morning, and then around lunch, after lunch, we'll head over to World Showcase and then spend the rest of the day in World Showcase. And so therefore, Future World wait times are pretty high in the morning. But if you look at wait times in like later afternoon, wait times are so much lower in Future World because everybody has gone to World Showcase. So, granted, people do that because it makes sense. But if you can try and kind of do the opposite of what people are doing, you're going to have way lower wait times if you go to Future World later.
I feel like it breaks every like rule I've set for myself to go and go. Like I'm thinking of like Future World, or no, sorry, World Showcase opening at 11 and being like, all
Gotta
right,
get
let's
there.
go. I'd be like, no, we didn't do enough in Future World, but I do think that would be a good tip. So
It's like so easy to be like, oh, I don't want to have to walk back there. Like, I feel like we're always like, once we're in World Showcase, like, I want to just enjoy World Showcase. I don't want to have to go back. And so we never end up really doing this ourselves. But it does
no, we
make sense.
should.
We should.
Guardians
o-
of the Galaxy is not going to be short, but I feel
No.
like Soarin' is. Even Test Track could go down a little
Could
bit.
go down.
Yeah.
Spaceship Earth, like all of those. And then the other place that we saw something similar to this is when on our last trip, we went to Animal Kingdom at night, and it was an absolute ghost town.
Yeah. It was
Because
so empty.
everybody goes to Animal Kingdom in the morning and then plans to leave midday, go back and take a break, park hop, whatever. We went at night and seriously could have walked on to whatever we wanted.
I was just thinking, contemplating. That's why I was spacing out because I'm changing my third one. I had a third one. I'm bailing on the third one. I'm thinking of a different third one. Oh.
Okay.
My new third one. Ready? Oh wait,
This
I'm
is
still
your
my
second one. Yeah, you're like,
Guys,
okay.
well, it's 10:16 p.m. Everybody. My second one is you should visit the parks on a party day if you have a park hopper or you're doing something else at night. Meaning Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Jollywood Nights. There are various other kind of things that are kind of thrown in there. The reason is that most people, if they are going to the party, are using their party ticket to get into the park later, so they're not going to the park during the day. And then everyone else doesn't want to go to a park that's closing early. And so what it means is that the park is literally so empty. We were just in Disney on the day that they had one of the Halloween parties, and literally we showed up there, everything was a walk-on. Nobody was there up until like 3 o'clock, and that's when you felt it about to get busy.
When we went and we were just like hanging out, we were literally only going to be there for a little tiny bit. We walked to Storybook Circus to see the new decorations. We said, oh, let's go look in the back. The wait time to meet, that area where you can meet like Goofy and Donald and all them, wait times for both were like 5 or 10 minutes. Normally they're 40 minutes. On the way out, the wait to meet Mickey, 5 minutes. So we were like, okay, I mean, why not do it? Literally, it was just like breezing on to everything.
It was, and I went to get a locker. Mouselet One was sleeping, taking a nap. And so I went to Magic Kingdom to get a locker because I was worried they would sell out before the Halloween party. And while I was there, I was like, well, let me do something. So I did the teacups. It was a 5-minute wait. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know how long teacups actually gets, but like it was a walk-on basically. And then I was at a teacup by myself. But I feel like that's a really good one. And a reason I say with the park hopper is because that way, you can go somewhere at nighttime. Otherwise, you have to leave the park, depending on which party is at like 6 or 7, whatever. But also another thing you could do is like full park day, and then you could go and do a dinner at a resort, go to Springs, do a resort night. So I feel like it's not going to be relevant every time of year, but I feel like when it is relevant, it's a good one.
Like, literally go do your day at Magic Kingdom if you don't have a park hopper. The thing is, it feels really weird to be leaving at 6. But other than the fact that you're missing fireworks, which I will say is sad, other than that, you're going to get so much done during the day that it won't
might not
matter.
even need Genie Plus.
Yeah, it won't matter as much that you didn't have those like extra 3 hours or whatever it was. So anyways, go to Magic Kingdom, stay until 6, take a boat over to the Polynesian, have a dinner at the Poly, and then watch the Halloween fireworks from the beach or something. Like, that's such a fun night and something a little bit different that you
Wait,
might
did
not
you
have
not
done
hear my
before.
hot take recently that I think they should ban all non-resort guests from the beach?
Oh, no, I didn't
That
hear you
starts
say
a
that.
pot. I don't know anyone who agrees with me. It's not to like gatekeep the resort. It's because I don't even stay at the Poly. I feel like most of the time we go to the Poly, we are non-guests. But I do think that the Polynesian is getting like overrun with people like us who are going there to enjoy the resort amenities while not staying there. And I think it is detracting a little bit from the people who are staying there. And so I think that they should respand it or something. I don't know. Just a thought. Maybe something to
It's a
discuss at a different time.
it's a bummer that I won't harp on this too long, but the way the bungalows are positioned, like most of the beach can't actually see the fireworks anymore, and that means everybody sort of squashes into that one area, and
Yeah.
there is no solution for that really, but it is sort of unfortunate.
Just because the Poly guests should be the one getting priority to that, right? And they can stake out the seats early, at least the seats. And maybe that's what they're doing now. But yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that was mine. Was
Okay.
it on the party day.
My third one, I don't think that this makes sense for everybody, but if your goal is to be maximizing your time, not saving money, maximizing your time, then you should consider renting a car. Because at the end of the day, renting a car in most cases is going to be significantly faster than using Disney transportation. There are, of course, exceptions. Number one, the TTC at Magic Kingdom is terrible. You should take a bus to straight to Magic Kingdom. It will be faster. And if you're staying on like a Skyliner resort or something, then like it's going to be quick to use that. But for at least 2 of the parks, if not 3 of the parks for every resort, having a car is really going to save you time.
We're a big rent-a-car family because we stayed off-site as kids. And so we always were going to like rent a car because we literally like basically had to. And so we got very used to having a car. And now like we still will rent a car at most resorts. If we're staying at the Contemporary, we won't. I mean, there are times that we don't, certainly, but a lot of times, if we're staying right near Magic Kingdom, maybe not. But like Saratoga Springs, that resort is so big with multiple loops and things that bus will take a while. And I mean, even the Contemporary, it goes to Contempt and Wilderness Lodge, like some Coronado, anything, Port Orleans, anything with like an internal bus loop, you're really going to be saving yourself time in the morning and at night if you rent a car. I agree with this one.
And you get free parking. If you're staying on site, you get free parking at the resort, you get free parking at the parks. You're really just paying for the cost of the car. And you can get pretty cheap rental cars these days. And again, like it means that you're going to get home to your resort in bed so much earlier. You don't have to wake up as early. Okay, here's a story. We were at Contemporary. Where were we trying to take the bus to? Animal Kingdom, maybe. No, not Animal Kingdom.
What,
Hollywood?
just recently?
Yeah, Hollywood. We were trying to take a bus to Hollywood.
Yep.
And we got to the bus at like 7:19 or something like that. And we had clearly just missed a bus because the next bus wasn't coming for like 18 minutes, which meant that we were going to miss rope drop at the park. And it was such a bummer. We were there so early, but like the timing, we were just slightly off.
Because like obviously as a civil engineer who focuses in transportation, buses have something called a headway, the time in between the bus. So how often does the bus run? Every 9 minutes, every 10 minutes, whatever it is. And what that changes if you're in a place like Boston, for example, is that they will run buses at a closer spaced headway during peak hours, meaning that during commuting hours, the buses come every 5 minutes. And then during the middle of the day, they come every 20 minutes. Disney doesn't really do that, at least not that significantly. Like they kind of consistently keep the gap between the buses. And it's probably just to do with like the number of buses. I don't know what it is, but I really wish they did. So yeah, that was a bummer. We had to Uber. It was like a whole thing. So
And if we wouldn't have had that problem if we had a car.
but our
we
Uber
would've
driver
just
was very
stepped on it.
nice. We were able to chat with her.
That
so
is true. That is true.
That was a good
Okay,
time.
what's your last one? Your new last one.
Okay, my new last one, and I'll reveal what the other one was after. My new last one is, and there's a specific time that we did this, and that's why I need to kind of get into it, but is to, if you want to maximize your rides, consider sort of breaking the status quo. Maybe that's your usual status quo. Maybe that's like everyone's status quo. I think like, all right, you go to Magic Kingdom right now, right? You're going to go do Space Mountain. I mean, for us, we do Space and Buzz and Speedway, whatever, but you're going to do Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You're going to try to get the big stuff done. But actually, you're breathing so loudly, it's absolutely unbelievable.
I don't think that's true.
Wait, do you know that sound from Kate Plus 8 where she turns to her husband and says, like, stop breathing so loudly? Do you know that sound?
No.
Oh, it's exactly what I just sounded like, but it is killing me. Please, Wyatt. It's distracting me from thinking. a lot of people are going to go at Hollywood Studios, right? They're going to go to like the big rides and stuff. And it does make sense sometimes. But if you go, I think Magic Kingdom and Epcot more specifically, don't really use this at Hollywood. But like at Magic Kingdom, instead of going to Space Mountain, I mean, you can go crank out like every single little ride in that park before it even gets busy. And I don't know. I feel like that's not something people consider. And then if you want to get Genie Plus and get the big rides on Genie Plus, just do all the little stuff. We've done it with like Mama Mouselet because she doesn't really like the big rides. That we'll do Swiss Family Treehouse and we'll do the Magic Carpets and we'll go in and we'll do the train and Country Bears and like Hall of Presidents. Maybe. I don't know about that one. But like we'll get all Small World. We'll get all of these rides in and I don't know. I think it's a really good way to
Yeah, I feel
fit
like it
stuff
can
in.
become very easy, especially at that park, to focus on like the big rides.
Yeah.
But therefore, you're doing the big rides, but you're not doing as many rides. But sometimes it's nice to be like, let's just do as many rides as we can. That doesn't necessarily need to be like the quote unquote huge rides. And especially if you're using lightning lanes, you can kind of focus on lightning lanes for those and then go, what?
I feel like I've said Genie Plus like many
You
times
have.
recently.
No, you have. And I didn't want to correct you, but you keep saying Genie Plus, and it's like, that's been dead and gone.
R.I.P.
Yep.
to Genie Plus.
But something that we've done related to that, we always in Magic Kingdom start in Tomorrowland. And like, I remember one day we decided to start in Adventureland and it made the whole day feel so different because we just changed up our pattern so much. And we did like different rides than we normally would at different times, which was
I don't know
fun.
if other people have as much of like a
Yeah, I
pattern
don't
as
think
us,
they do.
but in general, and especially if you're going for multiple days or if you're going to stay later and stuff, it's so tempting to do all the big rides, but you can get so much done if you don't. So that's mine. My other one, which I bailed on because I've just like, I don't know. It was if you're trying to maximize rides, take a VIP tour because, I will say, valid. If you can take a VIP tour, I mean, do it because you can get onto like every ride, but it's thousands of dollars. They have that new type of like lightning lane thing that's like an option now. And I mean, we went on a VIP tour and actually it was good, but it was not exactly what we expected. And so I feel like I would love to go on like a second VIP tour at some point in my life. Again, they're so expensive, but I think we needed to go in with a better plan. And just like on our VIP tour, guys, we went to Epcot to start and we wanted to do
We only started at Epcot to do Remy's. That's
to do
it.
Remy's.
It was new. It was pretty new at the
Guardians
time.
wasn't open at the time. We went to Remy's. Remy's then went down and we waited there for probably too long. We burned like 45 minutes of our tour. Like time is money on these tours.
And then we left Epcot.
And then we
there was
felt like
nothing
we
else to
had to
watch.
do something. We did test
We did test track.
No, the ride went down while we were waiting there. Then it came back up. So we burned like so much time at Epcot. And after that, like I feel like and then our tour guide went and got like Starbucks, which is like a thing that they get. And that just like had some weird delay. And so like we just had poor planning. And so I feel like we didn't maximize it. But I do think that people do maximize a VIP tour. And if it's in your budget, like, or if you have a splurge trip, it is a really good way to get a lot of stuff done. But because it's like not realistic for like most people, I kind of felt like it wasn't a good one. So I bailed on it.
Okay, well, I have a bonus one as well, which is that people should not sleep on the single rider lines. And I know sometimes it can be like, oh, I really want to ride with someone. And if it's really important to you, that's fine. But there are single rider lines at Rock and Roller Coaster,
Smuggler's
Expedition
Run,
Everest, Smuggler's Run, and I had another one in my head too.
Remy's.
Remy's, yes. And if you do single rider so frequently, you can very, very quickly bypass a very, very long line. And a lot of times, not always, and certainly not guaranteed, you end up riding with the person that you're standing with anyways.
Yeah, that is a good one. You should have replaced the one about renting a car with that one because the single riders, the car could have been a bonus.
Oh.
Yes, and a bonus single rider. If you're riding Smuggler's Run, you're going to get to a little like fork in the road. Most people will go right. Make like almost a U-turn and go left because there's never a line. And they're going to change Smuggler's Run to make the engineer role a little more fun. And FYI, if you do single rider for Smuggler's Run, you're going to be the engineer.
Always.
Although I was once a pilot.
A pilot?
Yeah, you don't remember that? There was a family of 4 and they wanted to be gunners and engineers. And I said,
Oh.
sign me up. I was a solo pilot. The other one was on autopilot.
I don't remember that at all. I do remember like one time one of us got to be a gunner, and that felt like a big deal in single rider.
How do you not remember that? You and Mouselets got to go together as engineers, and I was like, of course I get to go together. And then I was a pilot. I can't believe you don't remember that. It's one of the few times I've been a pilot.
Anyways, yes, if
Anyhoodles.
you make a hard left at Smuggler's Run in the single rider line, you will literally be like the very first one on. Also, a little hack that randomly happened. we saw a sign and we saw someone in front of us do this on the Space Mountain ride at Magic Kingdom. There was a sign that said, like, please let the whatever flight attendant, not that wasn't the word, know if you are a party of one. And the person in front of us, as they walked up, said, oh, I'm a party of one. And they literally pulled him out of line and put him straight on the ride.
Yeah, it was at the Halloween party. They literally got right on, and we were in a queue of like 30 people.
Yep.
Way more than that, probably. Actually, it was like
that
30
was like
minutes.
a hack that we hadn't really noticed before, and
they do it on Flight of Passage too.
Worked
If you're a
extremely
single rider,
well.
let them know. So, just pro tips. All right, guys. Next up, we are getting into. All right, on the episode we recorded before, we had a really fun game, but because we already played the game,
we can't
we're not
play it
going to
again.
play that game.
Which I am really sad because it was a really fun game. So
we'll
do
play
another,
the game another time.
We'll do it another time. But today, for our special segment, we are doing a
Mouselets Lore.
A Mouselets Lore drop. We thought of a few iconic Mouselets stories that we thought we'd tell.
Okay. Should I start?
Mouselet 2 is typing a new story as we speak, but would you like to start with the first one? Actually, I think I should tell the first story.
Okay.
So, as a child, my favorite attraction was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Play
It. At Hollywood Studios, MGM at the time. I was
Disney's
obsessed
MGM
with
Studios.
it. I think I was obsessed with it because if you won, you got special pins. And like I wanted those pins so badly, but I like literally was obsessed with it so much.
You were never selected to be on it, just in case anyone thought that she was.
I was also like 7, so. But anyways.
But earlier, you were like 5. I was like 3.
You were a little older than that, relevant to the story. We were going to see that. Were we inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were inside.
We were in the show.
And Mouselet 2 begins to feel ill.
I'm like, Mom, I'll tell the story from my perspective. I'm like, Mom, I don't feel well. And she's like, all right, watch the show. I feel like that was the vibe. And I was like,
I don't think that was the
vibe. Well, I was like, I don't feel well. Guys, you know what? Fine. Let me finish the story and then I'll say what I was about to say. I go outside right across. So for reference, this was in one of the sound stages that Toy Story Mania is in now. Just so you can kind of like get your bearings. Kind of in like Municipurgi, Pixar place, whatever. Right
and
across was
across
Airstream trailer with the character
Jojo. This is such a niche reference. I feel like most people would not know what the show is.
Jojo, what do you say?
What do you say? We all
what do
want
you
to
say?
know.
Tell me what you learned today.
Today.
All right, I don't know if you knew the words, but she's a clown. She's a circus clown. She's a cartoon character on Playhouse Disney.
She was a Playhouse Disney Junior character from JoJo's Circus, and randomly she had an Airstream trailer in this area where she and I think like her lion friend would meet outside.
Yes, or dog, maybe, whatever. And here's the crux of the story. Mouselet one's obsessed with this. I threw up in front of the JoJo Circus trailer, and then I also threw up in front of the bathroom by Oscars.
The front of the park,
and I had to put sawdust on it.
Mom also must have been like running you out, and you couldn't make it, and you threw up by the Oscars.
I was like a weird. I threw up in.
You threw up a lot. An eye doctor,
in like an eye doctor, like a optical glasses store. It's like I was not sick, to be clear. There's a whole thing going around, like some woman brought her kids to Disney with neurovirus. Just to be clear, I just randomly got sick during this. Yes, Mouselets one likes to just constantly talk about it. So,
and I wish that JoJo's Circus, I almost said JoJo Siwa. I wish that JoJo Circus trailer was still there, and I could reminisce every time I passed it.
Not sure why she was an Airstream camper, other than the fact that she needed like a dressing room. But
also, my eye is watering really badly, and I think people are going to think I'm crying, and I just want you to know I'm not. This
no one was
happened
worried
last
about
time.
that. Okay. Next story, this is hilarious. This is the funniest thing. If you remember where the Enchanted Tales with Belle show used to be, which is where you can now meet like Merida and, whoever from Encanto, that used to be a little Belle show, just like the one they have now. I mean, I feel like a lot of people probably remember it, but like you could get a part and you dress up. So like we all had parts. One's like Chip or you're like Gaston or whatever. And at the time, Mouselet 3, and to this day, was kind of like a know-it-all about anything like play, Broadway, musical-y, movie related, because he like loved theater then and now.
And so
I thought I was telling the story. Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say the whole point of the thing, even more so than now, is like the cast member people were very interactive with the audience, trying to get kids to like say stuff and participate. So they would be like, oh, what was this person's name? Which is what happened in this scenario.
That is what happened. Would you like to say it since you basically just told it?
Go ahead.
So Belle goes to so again, Mouselet 3 he was probably what, like 6, 7?
Yeah,
I don't know.
he was pretty young. Probably like 5 or 6.
No, he was a little older than that. He was a little bit of a know-it-all, as I said. And so Belle goes, and what was my father's name?
And Mouselet 3 stands up.
Mouselet 3 stands up, puts his hand, I'm going to mimic it on YouTube, puts his hand up and goes, Geppetto. Okay. Belle asks her father's name. Mouselet 3 makes a spectacle. It's like, duh, Geppetto. And Belle
Screaming.
goes, that's right, Maurice.
Maurice. And guys, also, nobody else responded to Belle's question other than Mouselet 3,
Who
standing
stood
up
up
screaming.
being the most insane know-it-all. It was so funny.
Okay, now I actually am crying laughing.
That was so funny. Okay.
Whew. Okay, the next one is like seriously so embarrassing that this happened. And this happened like semi-recently.
Like, now I don't really think it is.
Okay. Really?
You seem to like die about it. I like to make fun of you for it, but like
Oh,
actually-
I was skipping that one. I was skipping that one. I was skipping that one.
Okay,
We're
guys, it was that Mouselet 1 accidentally wore her ears in a pizza shop in Florida.
Like a non-Disney
Off-property.
affiliated place, yeah.
Still weird, but like, okay, you're skipping that one. I see. Okay.
I was skipping to the next one, which, what year was this? 2018?
It was New Year's Eve. So
was New Year's
just
Eve.
became 2018. It was 2017 to 2018 New Year's Eve.
And so we spent New Year's Eve in Epcot, which was actually, it was insane, but it was like so much fun. We should do a story about that at some point,
Yeah.
but whatever. We watched the fireworks, but we stood like at the entrance to World Showcase and we were ready to bolt, guys.
there
Okay,
were so many people in the park.
you can't even fathom. I mean, again, we have to do a whole story about it. Like, they literally made the World Showcase one-way traffic. Like, you actually can't even fathom how busy the parks were. And so we knew it was going to be insane. So we were ready to go, and we did. It was me, Mouselet 2, and Mama Mouselet.
We literally hauled it out of
Ran.
that park. We were like, we're gonna beat everyone because the traffic. We were like, oh my god. We go. We drove. We go and we go straight. I don't even know if we took a tram. I think we might have just like run to the car.
No, we just ran to the car.
And we run to the car. And
Or
the
where
car
we
is-
thought the car was.
The car isn't there.
And to be
and-
clear, Epcot is at capacity. So, like, the parking lots are literally full to the brim.
And we were like, what the heck? We knew where we parked. Okay. And we were like, this is so weird. We were like, okay. So we like walk kind of up and down the rows. People are pouring out of the park. We're walking up and down the rows, nothing. We cross over like a little to kind of the other side a little bit, like just like right across the road. Not there at all. Can't find it.
This continues to ensue. Okay. Like, we're going up and down every single aisle. We're going up and down every single row. We're trying to press the panic button where people are streaming out of the park. At this point, it's so far beyond us beating any traffic.
We were like, we walked. So we were in like the front kind of section. We walked behind the tree line where we knew
Even though
we
we
didn't
knew
park.
we didn't park there.
We're looking all there. We go back. We're like, did someone steal it? Was it towed? We asked security. There's so many people in the park that day that like they can't really help track when we parked, I don't think.
Yeah, normally if you lose your car, you can talk to security. You tell them what time they got there and they say, oh, okay, people who arrived
we parked
around
in like this section.
9 a.m. were in this section. But because everybody got to the park so early because the park was going to hit capacity, they were like, unfortunately, everybody arrived in the same like 1 hour time period. So we can't help you.
We left at midnight. Okay. We booked it out at midnight. It was now, I'm not joking. It was 2
It was 2 a.m. I actually don't even know how that happened. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a time.
Unbelievable.
It was like a time.
It was
warp.
a time warp. It was a time warp. Also, there were so many people. It was chaotic. We were like, once the parking lot empties out, we'll see the car. The parking lot is emptied out. No
The car's
car.
not there.
We're like, okay, so it was towed. It was, I don't
Except no, because it wasn't like there was an empty spot where our car was supposed to be. Like,
well, like we were just like, what
What?
is happening? Okay. Come to find out, around 2:30 a.m., after searching for the car for 2.5 hours, the Epcot parking lot, let me explain it to you. There's a center area, and then there's 2 other areas like on the side, basically. We went to the right side, which I think is called
at the time, it was the
Earth-
old names.
Earth
yeah,
and
at the old
Space. I
names,
don't remember what
the
it's
time.
called then.
Yeah.
It's like Heroes and Villains at Magic Kingdom, whatever. We went to the right side. I mean, we're so stupid. We were parked on the left side, and it looked exactly the same. Like, hypothetically, where we parked in the parking lot looked the same. The car was sitting right there.
It was right
After
there.
searching for 2.5 hours.
And like we just because the side that we needed to be on was across like a tramway and stuff. It wasn't super obvious, I guess, that was a parking lot. So we
Again,
didn't
guys,
notice
I'll go
it.
put this on Instagram stories tomorrow because it's
we
literally
certainly should have
10:37
noticed
p.m.
it. So, anyways, we ran out at midnight and we left at 2:30. There was no traffic though when we left.
There was no traffic. It was insane. I mean, honestly, we walked. I can't even. I'm like,
No, and again, like we at this point, it just became
wait.
so funny that we were just like laughing because it was so insane.
Also, that trip, to make this worse, it's not like we didn't recognize our rental car. We took the auto train from Washington, D.C. It was our
car.
It was our personal vehicle.
If you don't know what the auto train is, you drive your car onto the train and your car comes with you. So it was our family's car.
It was our iconic family's car, okay? It wasn't like we confused a rental car. It was our family's car.
It was our family's car.
All the more reason we were worried about like it being stolen, whatever. That was insane. I'll do one last quick one, which we should do a whole another episode on. Mouselets lore is the fact that Mama and Papa Mouselet have found me and you so many lost children in Disney. There went through a period of time that Mama Mouselet saw a lost child like every single day.
Every
It was
day.
ridiculous. She went up into Tarzan Treehouse once at Disneyland. Like the one time we went to Disneyland, there were 2 lost kids sitting up
Comes
there.
out with a kid. Yep, comes out with these kids.
She like sees a kid and she like, I remember Papa Mouselet found a lost kid, or the little lost kid found Papa Mouselet in Epcot, and Mama Mouselet was nowhere to be found. I remember the little kid like grabbed Dad's hand, and Dad was like, and he,
Oh.
do you remember what Dad did? He brought them over to the DVC salesman who had no idea how to handle this child. Dad
Wait,
said,
oh my gosh, I need to give a tangent story, which is when Mouselet 3 got
oh my
lost
God.
in Epcot. Guys, our family, okay, we were in Epcot. We've definitely told this story before, but we were in Epcot. We crossed over the bridge to go from China to where the like African outpost is. I guess Mouselet 3 got left behind, and at that exact time, they raised the drawbridge to take the Illuminations globe out onto the lake at the time.
He was kind of little, and he's trapped
Yeah.
on the other side. I don't even know when we noticed he was gone.
I don't know why we didn't notice. No, but so he, being, very resourceful, he says, let me go talk to a cast member. The cast members in that pavilion are from China. And so there was a language barrier between like 5-year-old Mouselet 3 and this cast member from China. There's no way Mouselet 3 was explaining it well. The cast member from China probably didn't have like an understanding of the English language in order to understand what it meant to be a lost child. I don't know.
I actually probably think, just in hindsight, that the cast member from China was probably doing completely fine. It was probably like, just wait here. And he's like, wait, I need to
Panicking.
cross the water right now. Like, I think it was mostly a him thing. But yeah, it was unfortunate.
Ultimately, we realized he was lost. The drawbridge came down. We came back over. We did find him. He was distraught, obviously.
He was obviously distraught. Okay, one other tangent. Papa and Mama Mouselet lost me in a small theme park in New Hampshire called Santa's Village, and they left me behind, both of them. I was all by myself sitting on a bench for so
Mouselet-
long.
And in the most classic Mouselets 2 fashion, in case you want to know anything about Mouselets 2 personality, she said, I'll just go on a ride then. They left
Fine.
me behind. I'll just get on a ride.
I went on the roller coaster like twice, okay? And then I'm like, oh my God, still not here. So I go and sit on the bench, and then finally they come. And I was like, seriously, guys? Okay. And there's another story where we found a lost child. It's a little girl named Nora, but I'm going to save it for another episode when Mouselet A comes on because she was one who found it. So
She was.
that's the Mouselets lore for you. There's so much more, but those were the front of mind at our emergency podcast session at 9:30 p.m. So
It's now 10:41. As always, we are going to wrap up with each of us doing a fact of the day. Would you like to start?
you can start.
Okay.
After you, me lady.
So this week I did our Mouselets Monday deep dive, which if you don't know, we post a deep dive on YouTube every Monday, and I did it on Disney Quest. And Mouselets lore, I mean, our family absolutely loved Disney Quest growing
Chef's
up.
kiss. Love that.
Like, there was a 5th park, and it was called Disney Quest. We
There
went
was a 5th
every
gate.
trip.
People are like, I wish there was a 5th gate. There was. It was Disney Quest.
It was Disney Quest. We were absolutely obsessed with it. But my fun fact about Disney Quest, if you did go to Disney Quest, didn't go, it was like an arcade. It was like a VR arcade type experience that they had in downtown Disney at the time. But the fun fact is that there was also a Disney Quest in Chicago, and it was supposed to be spread like throughout the whole entire United States. Unfortunately, the Chicago one failed, and that kind of put an end to that entire plan. But I would have killed to have a Disney Quest near me now. That would be so fun.
Same. I would absolutely kill for that. I thought that video was very good and very informative that you did. So everyone, if you're interested in a deep dive on Disney Quest, Mouselets didn't know anything about Disney Quest and watched it too, and she really liked it. I have one thing to say before we wrap up, before I get to my fact, is that in her Mouselet One's video, she talked about something pre-Disney Quest called Club Disney, which was like Chuck E. Cheese, but like Disney-fied for kids. And apparently they all closed because they weren't successful. And I do not understand that because I would literally go there all the time. So
Like,
Don't
if
understand
we
that
had
at all.
known that existed, there was not one near us. There were only 5 that ever opened in the US. If one had opened near us, we would have been there all the time. I found some footage from like a home video someone did of one. It looked so fun.
It looks so fun.
How did Chuck E. Cheese, a little bit janky, Chuck E. Cheese survive and Club Disney didn't survive?
Literally. We used to get to go to Chuck E. Cheese after our mom and her friend went to a store in the New England area called Christmas Tree Shops. And if we were good, we were rewarded to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. And we loved it. But if it had been Club Disney, I would have loved it 10 times. I would have been going to Christmas tree shops every day.
Same. I can't even imagine. Also, it's funny. Like we acted like we had to be behaved in there. We were always going to Chuck E. Cheese. Okay.
Yeah, there was never a time that we went to Christmas tree shops and didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese.
We were pretty well behaved kids, like generally overall, though. Okay. My fact is next week on Monday, in a couple of days, because we're recording this the night before the podcast because the other one got all messed up. We got a really, really, really cool opportunity to interview Disney engineers and architects, this whole team of Disney people who work on certain types of projects at Disney, like refurbishment type projects, amongst other things, facility asset management, whatever. And so that's coming out on Monday. Stay tuned. It's so cool to get to hear their perspective. And we talked all about Stormalong Bay at Beach and Yacht Club with other topics as well. But I did a deep dive kind of precursor to the video that we're going to put out about Disney swimming, because a lot of people think of swimming at Disney and you think of the pool. But between 1971, when Walt Disney World opened, and around the mid to late 90s, people could swim in the lakes at Disney. And in fact, when they first bought the property for Walt Disney World, it was a giant swamp. There was a cabin and a dirt road. There was nothing. And they had Bay Lake, which is a lake that the campground is on and the back of Contemporary is on. And they drained that entire thing. They dredged it. They cleaned out all of the muck and junk at the bottom. And at the bottom, they found pristine white sand that they then made the Contemporary beach out of and the Polynesian beach out of. And so at the beginning of Walt Disney World, it was very, very common for people to swim in the lagoon, Seven Seas Lagoon, and at Bay Lake. It was a huge part of Disney culture. Anyone who went during that time remembers that as Disney culture. So that's mine.
And we did go to Disney when I'm pretty sure that was allowed, but we did stay on site one time, but
we stayed at Caribbean Beach, and it was allowed at Caribbean Beach. Caribbean Beach opened in 89 or 90, and it was allowed in a very tiny section of the Barbados area. Apparently, I had to literally ask, I had to find a cast member who worked there at the time to be what was the deal, because I couldn't find anything. But it was being phased out. In the summer, you couldn't swim because of amoebas in the water, amoeba, whatever the plural of amoeba is. And then in the winter you could, and eventually it just became not that safe, but also not that desirable. They didn't ever officially really close it off until way later, but it really basically ended in the 90s. No one was really actively swimming in a swimsuit in the lagoon after that. So that's a fun fact. And if you're interested in that, Monday, YouTube, hear from the Disney team. Coolest opportunity we've gotten, literally. So enjoy
we're so
that.
excited.
And at best, it's 10:46 p.m.
I was gonna say. It is truly a Mouselets After Dark episode. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out with us. And we will have a new episode on Thursday. We also, of course, have our Mouselets Mondays on YouTube on Monday, as well as lots of other content on social media if you want to follow along.
And if you're interested in hearing more about this podcast, including the deep cut from this one, but really extended cuts at the beginning where we're talking about our lives and things going on, other Disney happenings, early trip announcements, all things like that, you can join our Pit and our Peach Crew. That's on our Patreon. Take a look. There's 2 different tiers. Both get the extended cut. Our Peach Crew gets a couple of other bonuses like close friends on Instagram, where we're sharing even more behind the scenes things. And just, I think I shared the other day that where I was storing my plant, just various things. That makes it sound really boring. It was funny.
It does. But I will say, I'll tease it. We have a huge announcement coming soon. I feel like we've had a lot of announcements lately. We have another one, and this one is a big announcement, and we'll be announcing it to Peach and Pit Crew first. So just a little teaser for if you want to join. Just a little teaser.
So check out our Patreon if you like the podcast, especially if you want that extended cut. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple, Spotify podcasts. If you're on YouTube, follow along, give us a thumbs up. That helps us grow and get seen more. So much appreciaed. And now
we're off to bed.
We're off to literal bed. I'm in my pajamas under the sweatshirt, guys. She's just sitting there in hers. Bye.
See you next week.